Here we are in Southfield, Michigan, and this is a residential area, pretty well filled in. Even got some senior living going on over here, some manufacturing in another section of the city. And here we have Lasser Woods Park. This is a very large park, and there's a school nearby. There's places for picnicking and walking around. And in the back, the very back of this park, are some wetlands, and they extend to the right and to the left. And there's vernal ponds in there. There's some ponds in there that exist all the time, and water running through the ground. So it's a typical Michigan environment with water running through the ground all over the place. Could be a creek or a river under my feet, 10, 20, 30, 50 feet below me, moving through the ground. And here we see that this park has been cultured. So we got a lot of dandelions here. We have some benches, beautiful park trees. The park trees are not always native to North America, but they fit right in, and they're in the same biome all around the same area in the world. So they're not too bad. And we've got a bunch of birds that living here, all of them native, and the starlings visit too. We got a lot of starlings. And the point of this particular video is to show that this area has a lot of people living in it. But look at the size of this park. It's a very nice park. It is an integral part of the neighborhood, even though there's not a lot of people out here right now. I'm out here by myself, but it is an integral part of the neighborhood and necessary, not only for folks and their recreation, but it's great for the environment. It's wonderful air here right now. I'm walking through fresh air, wide open space, and I can see down. If we head into the forest, we'll see lots of native plants and native animals. There's deer living here. Hawks frequent the place. Owls, I'm sure, though I've not seen them during the day. And as I mentioned, plenty of birds, songbirds, and birds that are migrating through here. This particular field that I'm in also has water under it. I just stepped through a bit of the mushy part of it. See, some of the trees have been taken down. But Michigan is a state filled with wetlands. The idea that they can all be filled in and eliminated would fill in and eliminate Michigan. And actually the idea that it could be filled in and eliminated is far-fetched. Because what would you do if someone came up with the idea and said, oh, we can double the size of Michigan by filling in all of Lake Superior out to Ile Royale? That wouldn't work out. So all these little spots getting taken up, it's not a good idea either. And here in Southfield, Michigan, they've come to a good solution, preserving the native areas, providing wide open park spaces for folks, and lots of living spaces for everybody, and opportunities for work and business. See, there's a busy road right there. That's Lasser Road, and it's very busy. Yet in this direction, we have a nice wide open park, quiet area, songbirds, butterflies, all that sort of thing, deer, raccoon, possum eating up all the ticks. So possums are good, and they live in the wetlands. And then, of course, the wetlands themselves. And we're approaching the brink of trees behind which there is some wetlands. Over here to our right, we'll see a location where some trees were taken out. And look what's happening. We're going to take a look and see the water level. The water level here is just inches below the surface. And we're seeing a vernal pond here, where the water has come up through the grass. And if left alone, this area should resettle back to where it was before it had been graded off for the park, providing a living space for amphibians, drinking water for the creatures around here. And of course, by coming up out of the surface and going back down into the ground, the water is in a constant state of being filtered. And that's, whoop, you hear that squishing? Hold on. There, I was squishing on the ground there. The water is in a constant state of filtration. I'm loving the water on the surface here. I hope it's left. It's all through the grass. Just fantastic. Now you can hear me squishing. There we go. Wonderful stuff. And down and forward ahead of us, we'll see some even more wetlands down in there, but we're not going to go in there today because we're not booted up. Need some boots to go in there. With the water constantly going up and down and flowing through the soil, it is being filtered and cleaned. And sometimes it's actually being fortified with minerals. There we go, we can see far into the woods here. And this is a very large open area. There's plenty of water in there, and I'm not going to go in there right now because I'm not booted up. And that's important to keep the water filtered because we're drinking it. We ultimately drink parts or all of it and use it. And using it in a safe manner, it's the best way to do it. That's not to take too much. You don't want to drain it down too far because that causes problems with the substrate. And here we are. I am just a quick walk away from a very busily traveled road in a heavily populated area. And it's not, they did a good job separating folks, so it's not heavily populated. We're not looking at downtown New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco. But there's a lot of people living here, but yet still, look, I can take a walk over here. There's creatures in here. Fox, deer, and all the birds I mentioned earlier. So this is a good thing that's worked out around here. I'm going to thank the people of Southfield, Michigan, and thank the people of Michigan for bringing this out for people all across the United States, because we can see here in real time what it's like to live in a community with homes, businesses, parks, retirement areas, places for the children to recreate and play, and room for nature and our natural resources. Wetlands are some of the most productive areas in the world for life and biological diversity. And even though we live here in Michigan, which has been settled a while, and even back in old New York, and even back in Europe, there are still opportunities to discover new and wonderful things to help us combat disease, improve our health, and increase our knowledge of this wonderful and intricate world in which we live.